Hey everybody, Aaron here from Firefly Studios, and this week we're going to be going back and looking at MetaMorph dungeon creatures. To that end, I brought Mr. Jack Massey here today.
Hello.
So if you hadn't seen, we released a new update called the Ratman update, which, well, Jack, why don't you tell the lovely audience what the Ratman update included?
Sure, I'll steal the limelight from you for a second here. So the new Ratman update includes a new hero, the Ratman, a new Lord of Death, the Diva, some new enemies and some new traps for the players to experiment and play with.
Sounds good. So to exhibit this new update and show the Ratman in full effect, we're going to be playing through a couple of chosen levels where he's, as said, the most effective. But if you like the look of MetaMorph in this video today, don't forget you can pick it up on Steam for $6.99 in Great British pounds, so whatever that translates to in your local currency. How about we play some MetaMorph, Jack?
I think that's a very good idea.
So starting off, we'll just quickly go through the level select screen, choose our loadout, and make sure that all our hero abilities are what we want them to be.
Make sure we actually select the Ratman as well.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it could be a very, very good idea. Come to play the game and don't show off the Ratman. Could be a bit problematic.
Yeah, that's not the best idea. So we're going to start off with level 69. I told a lie in the intro. We're going to start off with level 69. But before we begin, let's make sure the rat. Oh, see, he's not in there, Jack.
No, not in there. Assumes your default loadout when you started the game. That's
exactly.
Very rude.
So who are we feeling here today? Are we? Who's your chosen lineup?
I mean, usually I just swap out the Finance because it's the closest to the Ratman slot. I'm fairly lazy when it comes to the game, but
fair enough. I'm going to ignore you.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I offered my advice, and
I'm a fan of what the Finance brings to the table. Her ranged attacks.
Yeah.
She has good some crowd clearance. So I'm going to change out controversial decision, but
controversial decision that is indeed.
And we're going to show off. There are 3 abilities, but unfortunately today we can only use 2 because we want players to have to be selective with their loadouts. So we only offer 2. So we're going to choose the new cloak ability and the poison bomb ability, which I won't describe, I will show in game.
I think that's a much better idea. Games are better shown than described.
Yes, so for the other heroes, I'll let you decide, Jack. What should we go for?
Well, I think the rock form is always a solid favourite. Like the ability to roll around and crush enemies is always there. Really? So yeah, already in there. We just keep it in there, drag it in just to make sure it's there. In regards to the other abilities, I like to use the ogre as like an area of effect to like kind of clear out more than anything else. So I'd probably run rockfall and rock form personally.
Okay.
That's kind of the area that's kind of what I run with more than anything else.
Sounds good. The Fire Nymph, I think multi-shot's a classic.
Multi-shot's
pretty good. My personal favourite is we've got to go for Incinerate. So let's jump into level 69. As you can see, this is the Ratman. Good little character animation. I'm going to be able to show him in his, show him off too much since we've got a shit ton of enemies coming our way. Yeah,
we're a little bit crammed in here already.
To give the audience an example, here's what you can do. Oh, no, that's totally wrong. That's what you can do. So I've just activated the cloak ability.
As you can see, the Ratman is currently see-through. He has the ability to pass through enemies as well whilst cloaked. So whilst it is described as a cloak, it's closer to a ghosting skill.
Yeah.
And when the skill comes towards an end, it will begin to fade out slowly, giving you an indication that your time's almost up and you better have a plan of action ready.
Indeed. And this is our other ability, so you can put down a little bomb there. And boom.
Very nice.
Area of effect ability there.
Not only that, it provides a poison debuff on enemies as well, so it's very, very useful, especially in longer fights or with larger enemies and you're quite low on resources. You can throw out a couple of 3 mana bombs.
So this is his ultimate ability.
So that is the poison volley. He throws out a set of poison darts in which I suppose this skill kind of fits in the hybrid of area effect and skill shot because ideally you want to plan it out. So there's like a crowd of enemies in front of you, just throw them out in front of you. Yeah. But you can also use it as a well-targeted skill shot, although the darts have to hit the enemies, so you need to be fairly careful when using this skill.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't really use it to the best effect there, I'll be honest. As you said, it's a sort of area of effect ability in which you want to surround yourself with enemies, perhaps just after using the cloak ability.
Definitely, yeah. So when you cloak, the enemies will be like, where's the rat man gone? They'll be stuck still whilst they're trying to look for you and all that. And then you can go behind them, throw out the darts, all will be good. You'll hit a load of enemies and they'll be kind of like, they'll be in a weakened state, in which stance you can then switch to another hero, use their abilities.
What I really like about the Rat Man is he gives you another option for a fast-paced hero.
Yes, definitely. So this was one thing we had an amount of debate internally about, because originally we wanted the rabbit to be like the fast utility-esque hero going on. So we wanted the rabbit to kind of handle all of our like quick speed maneuvers and all that. So you'd be like our ogre, fine, and then of course you're going to stick with the rabbit, switch out, and then just run around. Yep. However, with the Rat Man, we felt he is even more extremely tied towards that support angle with his cloak, with his poison bomb ability.
So that was level 69. Just to give a quick examination of the first two abilities and the ultimate of the Rat Man. Not too cunningly used by me, I must say. But
of course, but I'm sure the audience looking and watching these videos can make far better use of the abilities.
Oh, exactly, yeah. This is the whole thing, is that I'm not a great MetaMorph player, but you know who could be? You watching right now. So that was level 69, moving on to level 70, but before we do that, we can quickly go in and swap out some abilities. Now I'm tempted to go Ultra Attack. Yeah.
Potentially, yes, very potentially. So you're thinking of dropping the cloak potentially, or are you thinking bear trap, poison trap, no cloak?
Yeah, let's try.
That's okay. Let's give that a go and see what happens.
Let's give it a go. But this is the thing: if it fails, quit the level, reorganize your loadout,
reload, and then jump back in straight away.
And I think in terms of, hopefully I can show it off in a second. But in terms of gameplay-wise, obviously we haven't got the cloak loaded in now, but I think it does add another element of one thing we haven't had so far in MetaMorph is a character / ability which is able to sort of slow down the game.
Yes, yeah. Like previously, it had to be a matter of you have to really kind of drive into the game and make sure that you're always ready to hit those abilities in the correct time, and just make sure you're not wasting like inputs and all that. Whereas now with the Rat Man, we're giving people possibly more of an angle towards that strategy element we've talked about in the past, where maybe we haven't served that to the fullest extent. But now with the Rat Man, with these abilities that actually go, hey, I can take a breather, think about what I'm doing, and even use abilities whilst cloaked, which is something I don't think we've shown too much here. But you can also perform that, so it does give you an amount of additional tactics and strategy to work with. Oh, you've just been frozen. You are frozen by one of the ice wraiths there, I believe. As you can see, that is one of the new traps up there. It's the Rail Rider family of traps. I must admit, these are some fairly brutal levels. Like these are not for the faint of heart, I must admit.
Oh god. Okay.
Oh, the Rat Man is just about fast enough to evade that. You've got to beat all the wraiths there as the. So you are. You've got that fine and ready for the wraiths is the thing. Like whilst the wraiths are, I think there may be a couple more lurking about. Oh, get that cheeky goblin.
Oh, I've got the Metamorph sweats going on.
The Metamorph sweats, indeed. Closely related to the meat sweats some people get after a meal. So that is the new fire golem that we've introduced. He's someone you don't really want to tangle with as the Rat Man. The Rat Man is not exactly designed for melee combat, as players may have figured out whilst watching this footage.
Yeah, so we're just going to skirt around. We're low on health here, so have to think about what we're going to do. And there doesn't seem to be any health packs going around here.
Throwing out multiple incinerators, which seem to have a level of penetrative power through the enemies as well, which is quite useful. So obviously, whilst the fire golem has an inherent resistance to fire due to the fact that he will clobber you if you get too close, still just pinging away with his ranged abilities. So. Dodge of the century right there. So one thing we have done as a UI fix, I don't know if people saw it just there earlier, but with the, it wasn't too clear when you were dealing like elementally like strong damage against the character. So what we've done is revamped that UI system slightly, so now it shows the additional damage that you deal if you're using an attack that is strong against that type of enemy. So as you saw there, poison beating fire, or fire beating ice, or ice beating poison.
Exactly. But yes, again, we talked about this in the last video, but the whole elemental thing, and the Rat Man adds a whole new aspect.
Yes, there hasn't been a poison-orientated character before, whereas now that option has now been offered up to the player. We can now players can now work with that and actually improve their loadout. So rather than having the neutral character, they could instead actually play against strengths and weaknesses and try and min-max their runs a bit more using that kind of methodology rather than playing it slightly more conservative with the rabbit overall.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so hopefully what we can do here is showcase some of the combos you can now get off with the Ratman. So as you can see, and this is the newer Gatling gun.
So yes, this is the new Rail Rider machine gun. As you can see, currently can't do much. It now starts to activate when the Ratman has decloaked. But as you saw there, the Ratman could place bombs, and he can also place his bear trap whilst cloaked. So the Ratman does have. It isn't just a one and done cloak. You can actually do a level of interactivity with it. Obviously, if you switch characters whilst cloaked, then you will lose the cloaking effect immediately.
Any action?
Yes.
Apart from
any action apart from Ratman related skills will force you to lose the cloak.
If you time it right, you can indeed use the Gatling gun to your advantage, like most traps in a MetaMorph.
Yes, I can see you've been using it to damage that ice wraith there. Yeah. So now you've got them all lined up.
Now we've got them all grouped together. I'm gonna wait, switch.
Oh, wombo combo.
Oh, yep, I'm nearly dead.
Oh, in a bit of a tight pickle though.
Use our ability.
Throwing the poison volley, it's got quite a wide range as well, all things considered. So rather than just going for the long range, we've also considered like wide rooms and all that as well. So perhaps for those difficult star levels where there are quite open spaces that you want to deal with, you can use the new Ratman ultimate to help you with that.
We're okay.
There we go. Just got through the first room there. You kind of forget about that when playing this game. You're like, oh, that was quite intense. Maybe that's that. Nope, you've still got more to go. Luckily, we're including little respites here and there. But now
to keep your let your sweat dry between the. So we're just gonna group them all up again. Go invisible, so they
will stop. Wonder where you are. Now you can use this time to your advantage. Throw down a little bomb trap quickly. But what you can also do, as you kind of did there, is when you can choose, you can uncloak in certain places, as you can see with the flashing. So what you can do is uncloak, and then the gun turret will immediately face and fire at you. So there are additional little combo things like that, but I won't go into all of them for now. So
this happens all the time with MetaMorph, where I do Let's Plays, where I want to talk about the game, but
you just get too roped into it is the problem. That's why you have me helping you.
Exactly.
But
so we're gonna.
So we're now we're in this very low resource state, which I'm sure many MetaMorph players are familiar with, or rather resourceless at this point. We're dead.
We're going to jump into level 74.
Yeah.
So penultimate level to the final level in the update.
So after 54 or 55 tries, we're slowly homing in on the goal. The Wraith's just going straight in for you this time. Possibly because you destroyed the barrier and you weren't running towards them. They don't like that. They can't like the booze in Mario, so.
I'm going to go around here because that middle bit, as we've established, isn't indeed a jet trap.
Yeah, it's not worth going into. I mean, I think what's really cheeky about this is like you think you're done, you're like, oh, thank goodness. Can get out of here now. No. There are enemies popping up through the floor now. Like, bash them in the head, or they have to. Not bad. Oh. Is he going to get the other one? Wash. Are you gonna do a cheeky? Look at that! All the machine gun bullet. He's just gone. He's gone.
Go.
Go. Oh, there we go. Finally got there. Took us 55 attempts, but we got there.
Okay.
We got there.
There is one more level, which contains the brand new Lord of Death.
Yeah.
But I thought we'd leave that for the players to withhold her beauty.
Yes.
She's
definitely.
a very illustrious woman.
Yes. I have all the men swooning for her, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that was a quick look at the Ratman. I want to thank Jack for joining me here today.
Very happy to be here, Dom.
Very happy to watch me increasingly get frustrated and fail and die.
It says here on OBS we've been recording for about 3 hours at this point. So.
As always, if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button, and if you hit that subscribe button, you'll see more Stronghold content, more MetaMorph content, and more game dev goodness. here at Firefly Studios on YouTube every Thursday at 3 p.m. Cheers.